Alright. Hello everyone. Let's see if this week's challenge is not bugged, unlike last week. What do we have? We have missed delivery. We have a rewards multiplier, so it might be working. We didn't receive our full equipment delivery this week, so you won't have everything you might need. Find the ghost in Brownstone High School. Well then, that sounds like a pain in the ass. High school is already not exactly the greatest map in the game, and not having all equipment might be a pain in the ass as well, so yeah. Let's see how this goes. Okay, we do have a monitor for sanity and activity. We have Peter Anderson, apparently. So what are we missing? That's all the evidence bits. We have one smudge stick, one crucifix, one thermometer. Seems like one of everything, pretty much. Except for regular flashlights. Nice troll there, Divs, good job. Very funny. You got me. Yeah, seems like one of everything, pretty much. I don't see anything standing out that might be unusual. So, let's do what we did last week. Or, well, yesterday technically, but it was last week's challenge. And start by grabbing the thermometer earlier. Oh yeah, does it show me where the breaker is? It does, upstairs on the left. Okay, so we'll beeline right there. Maybe the breaker will even start on, we don't know that, so let's go and find out. But yeah, I want to start with the thermometer. Usually I like to start with the photo camera, because I can find the bone, take a picture, maybe take a picture of any ghost interaction that might pop up. Okay, breaker does not start on, so let's go and toggle that first and foremost. But yeah, I find the photo cam nice to have around, especially for cursed possessions and for the bone, but since we're doing the weekly challenge, it really is only about identifying the ghost, so finding the ghost room quickly might be more useful than getting the tiny bit of extra money and XP from taking photos. So I'll be bringing the thermometer instead. However, we do need to turn on the breaker, otherwise the building goes cold, and at that point the thermometer isn't all that helpful, so we beeline for the breaker, kinda like we always do. This is the two bathrooms, and then this is the room with the breaker, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Has the old breaker model still. Okay, I may as well briefly check every now and then in case we happen to stumble across a room that's exceptionally cold, but overall the temperature is not going to be high. Give me a sign. Well, might as well start by checking these rooms. So the big issue with the school is that it's, first of all, massive, obviously. It is an entire high school building. So there are plenty of rooms for the ghost to hang out in, but also it's kind of laid out in a pretty unfortunate way. Like, you have to actually check all of these rooms. I find both of the other big maps, like both the prison as well as the asylum, to be a little bit more reasonable to deal with. They're kind of laid out in a more natural, organic way. Whereas this is really like, hey, check every room, every cell, if you will, for evidence and hope for the best. Also, having these two floors makes it hard to track sound sometimes, unless there's a phone ringing right next to you. How lovely. Was that in here, or was that one over? Not in here, apparently, unless I am too late. Let me turn this on. Wait, this is the light switch that I want. Kinda weirdly laid out. Wonder if that's realistic. Well, I am too late to get EMF off of the phone regardless. So I'm gonna check one more room on this wall, or on the side of the hallway. And if it's not any of these, then it might be downstairs, and sound was just being weird. Because it sounded like it was upstairs, it didn't sound very occluded or anything, but it might have been downstairs. The stairwell was right there, so it, you know, realistically would make sense for it to still be very loud, but you never know with video games. But yeah, school probably is my least favorite map, I think, at this point. Done a couple of games on the prison in recent memory, so I've gotten a little bit better at that map. I did spend a reasonable amount of time in the asylum as well. I think the asylum is probably the game's best map overall. It has like a lot of surface area to cover, but at the same time it has plenty of hiding spots and different areas to the map. It's not just like one big, somewhat flat plane with a shit ton of rooms. Okay, the thermometer is really not helping me identify where this phone was coming from, the phone ringing. That is a bit unfortunate. None of the rooms themselves seemed particularly cold. That could be an indicator that we're dealing with the twins. Because it might be that the twins did a long-range interaction at a phone nearby, and thus the area wouldn't be cold. We were too slow to get the, whatchamacallit. I'm surprised these stairwells don't have lights. That can't be normal. I'm sure that's made up by the devs. Surely high schools would have lights in the stairwells especially, otherwise you might faceplant and die. But yeah, it might be a twins just interacting with this phone from far away, and we just don't get the colder temperatures. Also, I haven't heard any other interactions in the area. Hey, give me a sign, please. That phone ringing was very nice. So yeah, it sounded like it came from this direction. We checked all of those rooms, we checked downstairs as well, so I guess we're back to just wandering and hoping. May as well go through the rest of this hallway. Continue checking the upstairs front-facing rooms. It was slightly colder in the downstairs hallway, so maybe the ghost was roaming around there, or maybe... I don't think the ghost can actually be in the very hallways themselves. Like, the hallways I don't think are counted as rooms, which is very nice. But there's still plenty of area to cover. I should probably go back down to the entrance and check for cursed possessions. Those might make life a lot easier. We only have one sanity pill though, so if we do drain a lot of sanity using the cursed possessions, we won't get it back anytime. That'll turn the rest of this mission pretty hard and dangerous. Kind of just roaming, hoping to get more indications for ghost presence. I thought I heard something. Something being tossed around somewhere. Oh boy, that is a lot of people. Tie them for all the people, DK. Welcome aboard. We're doing some ghost hunting, which in this case just means we wander through a dark high school with nothing going on. You said this is a very German stream. It's not that German. I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but usually it's not. I try my hardest. Oh, I see. Yeah, the usual. I'm about to stop. Oh boy, 30 people. Hello, people. Hey, alright, Spectacles. Alright, Kojak. Alright, DK. Tyvum for stopping by. I am very much not the most German man. Trust me, I am from Germany. I have seen plenty of more German men. Germates, one might say. Okay, so this has thoroughly sucked so far. Basically, what happened is we went upstairs to the left side. There's a, like the left wing, basically. There's the breaker. We turned it on to maybe find the ghost room, or to just, like, have lights available and warm up the place so we can use the thermometer. And then we heard a phone ring somewhere. I checked all the rooms on that side where the phone was ringing, and we couldn't find where the ghost was, so it was basically a bust. The ghost is pretty active, so it can't be near here. But yeah, basically using the map. So we were around here, and the phone came from like one of these rooms, I would have guessed. None of those were it though, according to the thermometer. And then we went downstairs and we checked these rooms and like some of these down here. Then we checked more rooms on this side, and none of these were the actual ghost location. At least the rooms were not colder than normal. So we don't really have any good clue where the ghost is. Now that in and of itself could be a clue. by virtue of it being the twins. The twins basically works in such a way that they have a main body somewhere, and then they have the normal interaction radius around the body, and they also have a large separate interaction radius. I don't know how big it actually is, so like don't take this motion as like evidence for how big their interaction radius is, but they have a second much larger interaction radius to kind of pretend like there are two ghosts in the place rather than just one. So there's a chance the ghost was around here maybe, and then it used a twins interaction all the way over here, and as a result these rooms are not cold, even though this is where the phone was ringing. So that's kind of my best guess for now, but we haven't really done that much yet, so it could still end up completely different anyway. While I'm out here, let's shuffle some items over to the entrance. I'm not gonna use any of them, I just wanted to check my sanity and stuff. We're around 70%, which is not great, but also not quite dangerous just yet. I did just see the music box, which is our cursed possession, it would seem. The music box will play a haunting tune that the ghost cannot resist but sing along to, so you can kind of use it to track the ghost. However, if you do get close, it'll start haunting, which is very dangerous, and also using it drains your sanity, if I'm not mistaken, which is also pretty bad. Here it is. So I'd like to avoid using it if we can, but we might end up having to do that anyway. Okay, so let's continue checking these rooms. Yeah, these were the ones that we checked before when we had the phone ringing. So let's go back upstairs maybe and check the rest of that hallway. Deeper in. Mostly relying on the thermometer to find out where the ghost room is. The breaker has been on for a while, so things should be warming up, and only the ghost areas should be colder. Like anything below 10 degrees of temperature should be somewhat suspicious at this point. I think I checked some of these before, because this is where we started. This is where the breaker was. Or still is, I hope. Okay, that's a bit further away. Somewhere in this direction. I wonder if that is downstairs. It's really difficult to tell with the way the audio occlusion works, generally speaking. This should be too warm for the ghost to be here. That door is wide open. That could have been the lost ghost. So one of the issues with the high school is that it's so big, even if I do hear a phone ringing, which should be a really good clue, I probably don't make it in time to actually check out whether there is EMF or something coming from the phone, because by the time I reach it, the effect will have worn off. But yeah, like I was saying before, audio occlusion is a little bit weird, and so I can't quite say for sure where exactly the phone was coming from. It could have actually come from downstairs. Oh, never mind, we are right here. This is the ghost room. 7 degrees of us is not a lot. I need to keep my torch on me actually, because it is dark as fuck in this building. Turn some more lights on, and go back down and get our supplies. Very good, finally found the room, and we have freezing temperatures as well, so that is one piece of evidence gotten right away. 2 more to go. So we're doing this week's challenge, which just dropped a couple hours ago, and it is basically limited supplies, the game. Normally you can bring, I guess there's no unifying number, you can bring a lot of items in the truck, and this week they gave you 1 of each instead. So while you do have everything available, you don't have multiples of it, so we have 1 set of sanity pills, 1 smudge stick, 1 lighter, 1 crucifix, that sort of thing. And especially the sanity pill is going to make that a little bit awkward. Let's see how much we get back. Okay, that was 30-ish. Very good. So we should be safe now to fuck around in that room for a little bit. I'll get some more supplies. Let's bring the crucifix as well. It might technically be better for me to enter from that side. The high school has multiple doors to enter. Like, 1 on the left, 1 on the opposite side, 1 here, 1 on the right, and 1 on the opposite side. And I think technically it's closer to the stairwell for me to come in from that side, and that is better because I lose less sanity. You don't lose sanity while you're outside of the building itself, so I could save a tiny amount of sanity by going around the longer way every time, but I can't be arsed. I just dropped some items here, so I'll just be using this as my staging ground. It is shuffling things around. And then you heard something being tossed again. So these stairwells being completely pitch black is a royal pain in the ass. If you ever have to run away from the ghost, they are going to get you killed. Was it this room? I think it was this one. Yes, this is it. Okay, let's see if we have any ghost orbs. It does not look like it for now. Oh, it touched the door, perfect. I guess with that we can quickly check for fingerprints, which there are none. Let's also quickly turn this off. Where are you? How old are you? Oh, hi. Okay, we have freezing temps and spirit box. Let's tag that for now. It could actually be twins, which would be interesting. However, it could also be Moroi, which is kind of scary. It's not Mimic because we don't have ghost orbs. I can just cross those out in general, so it's not Onryo either. It's either twins or Moroi. Moroi would be writing, and twins would be EMF 5, I think. Okay, second time no EMF 5. Just making sure that I didn't balls this up somehow. Very good. Oh, I blew out the breaker. That was dumb. Okay, it keeps touching this door and we're not getting EMF 5. Which is in and of itself suspicious and might indicate that it's not actually a mimic. So now we have to go downstairs without seeing anything. I've done this a few times, so I'm not quite as bad anymore as at it as I used to be. I used to very, very much get stuck on this map all the fucking time. You guys probably can't see shit because of the Twitch quality and the fact that it is also basically pitch black, but we'll just have to deal with that for a sec. So we'll go and fix the breaker in a second. I just want to go back to the truck and get some more stuff. Or at least have a little ponder. Do we actually need to bring anything else? We have one book, and that is lying behind me in the entrance, so we can just grab that. We'll grab the flashlight so we can go turn the breaker back on so we can see things, because seeing things is nice. I do want to give it a second check for ghost orbs. We didn't check super long, and sometimes ghost orbs are cheeky and hide in corners and stuff where you don't see them very well, so I do want to give that a second look to make sure it's not a mimic after all. But yeah, I think we'll just pick up the torch, grab our ghost writing book, grab a crucifix so we maybe don't die, and then we'll go turn the breaker on. Yeah, it's very awkward, shuffling around. No running in the camp, it's forbidden. I mean, you did see what happens when you disturb the camp inhabitants, so you don't want to upset anyone. Might make you fail right away. Touch the door, I think that sounds more like EMF 2 again. I think EMF 5 is more high-pitched. Ding. Alright, power is back on. You hunted something near camp and they were like us. Or you were on a mission and they asked you to, like, do shit and the game was like, lol, you didn't do the thing correctly. Those are my two guesses. Alright. I guess well deserved for both of you. Did it turn the light on? That is interesting. Oh, well, it doesn't actually matter. We have... I was thinking like, oh, nice, so we know it's not a mare, but we're doing things with evidence here, so we don't actually need to do that much hard thinking about it. We can just go with what we find. Okay, let's have another look for ghost orbs. Actually, let me turn the torch off. Did you just toss the book at me? No, you didn't. What did you toss? That sounded weird. That also scared the shit out of me. Fucking hard jump scares. Okay, it did not toss the book, but we're still not getting EMF 5. I think at this point our chances of getting EMF 5 should have been pretty high. So I think we might be dealing with a Moroi. Which is actually pretty scary, all things considered, because that means we are losing sanity even in the light. I should keep this on me while I'm in the room. EMF 3. Just trying to check for ghost orbs once again. But it does not look like there are any. Oh fuck, we died. Okay, it's definitely a Moroi, because it's much slower than normal, which indicates that our sanity is barely around 50%, I'd say. Well, it's not much slower, it's just a little bit slower, but, like, noticeably so. It seems like we have a lot of grace time before the hunt actually starts, which is why I managed to run out into the hallway and hide in the nearby classroom. Nice, glad to hear it. Okay, it stopped stomping around. Does that mean the hunt is over? Do we have a light switch to test? We do, okay, cool. So yeah, hunt is over. I'm gonna call you a Moroi. Can I please open the door? Thank you. I'm gonna call this a Moroi and also call it a day. And GTFO for our first of 3 hunts. Or first of 3 games. First of 3 investigations, let's go with that. Sounds more professional. But yeah, so the Moroi will curse you if you get a spirit box response, or if it hears you, or rather if it whispers into your paramic, which means that from that point on, your sanity drains more rapidly while you're in the dark, and your sanity also continues to drain even if you're in the light. So I could have just checked the sanity meter here when we were at the entrance and seen, oh wow, this is a lot lower than it's supposed to be. But yeah, we are very low sanity, even though we didn't spend that much time in the building. So after we got that spirit box response, we started draining pretty rapidly, which to me pretty heavily suggests that it was a Moroi. Technically, there's a small chance it was a mimic, and we just couldn't see the ghost orbs, because sometimes the ghost orbs are fucky, but they're not supposed to be fucky, so let's just assume the game is not completely broken, and that this was the correct behavior for the ghost. It was a Moroi, very good. Right, so we didn't do any of the side objectives, we didn't do any photos or anything like that. Like I said, for the weekly challenges I'm just gonna focus on actually getting the ghost correct for the most part. So, that is 1 out of 3, and back in we go. Ghost orb!
We've arrived. Check the equipment and get set up before investigating.
Alright, well, I guess we'll just do the same thing once again. I wanna start with not this. Hey, I mean, on paper the paramic wouldn't be completely useless, but in practice I think it's too unreliable, so I'll bring the thermometer instead. This time the breaker is on the bottom right side, so let's go and get that. We have snow, so it's even gonna be a little bit more cold. I'm gonna go in on the far eastern entrance over here. Actually, I don't know the cardinal directions. I don't know why I'm calling it east or west wing or whatever, but just assuming that this is facing north. But yeah, this is a little bit closer to the stairwell, and since the breaker is in the stairwell as well, may as well partake. Oh, we're up. Give me a sign. So, at the moment everything is cold in here because when the breaker is off, the heating is also off, so the building by itself doesn't really... everything is gonna be cold, and then as we turn the breaker on, things start slowly heating up, which is nice. However, it means that the thermometer is not very useful at the start. It's still kinda useful, like if we stumble into a room and it's minus 20 degrees, yeah, okay, sure, we found the ghost, but the chance of that happening is super low. But, over the next few minutes, the building should warm up, and from there we should be able to get some value out of it. It would, however, be nice if the ghost actually gave us a sign, as in if it made some noise, maybe turned on a sink here, gave us another call like it did last game. Call me, please. I need help, ghost. Maybe heard something upstairs, pretty far away. Could have just been the building itself making ambient noise, because they do that as well. I mean, any place is as good as any other. You just turned the breaker back off, huh? Interesting. Thought I heard a door there. Very end of the hallway. Okay, EMF 2. Thought I heard more doors actually. Let's have a look around. Keep the EMF out and see what we find. None of these look touched. I couldn't quite identify where the sound was coming from, but I did pretty certainly hear a door. I don't remember closing this one. Maybe I just missed this room before because I was on the other side with the bathrooms. For some reason, some of these classrooms also don't have lights in them. I don't know why. I wonder if American high school is just fucking hell. Or if it's just creative liberty for a ghost game that is meant to be spooky and dark. Okay, seems like it's not this room either. Let's check the very corner. Well, it probably is abandoned, looking at the state of things, yeah, but at the same time it still has power and heating that runs as soon as you flip the breaker on and stuff like that. So how abandoned isn't really, I don't know. The 3M crackhead makeover, yeah. Maybe this is just the state that the school goes into overnight, and then the next morning the janitors come in very bright and early, fix everything back up and turn this into a proper building. Into a proper school that is actually usable. Okay, there's a chance that the doors I heard were actually upstairs, so let's go and check the upstairs, east wing hallway. Maybe get some of those rooms checked as well. Because I think I heard 2 instances of doors being humped while we were going back for the breaker. Ooh, just turned the breaker back off. Second time already, that's pretty quick. Might be a Hantu. Which would be nice because it would indicate, or Hantus always have freezing temperatures, so we would be able to tell pretty quickly whether the room has freezing temperatures. Freezing temperatures are nice because if the ghost has been assing around for a while, you enter the ghost room and you immediately have like freezing breath in front of your face and you will know right away that you're in the right place. Some of the other effects can be a little bit more sneaky, but freezing temps would be very easy to find once we find the room. Technically, there's a difficulty setting that might be on, I don't know, where by default, if you play on amateur, none of the doors are open by default. So whenever you find a door that's open, that was the ghost having pushed it open. And I don't know technically whether the challenge has that setting on or off. However, I'm assuming that for most of the challenges, they're gonna just have some doors randomly open by default. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to just spot, hey, this door is open, nice, we found the ghost. But it would really not make it much of a challenge, would it, if that was the case? I guess for a big building like the high school, you still have to wander the hallways quite a bit, so that could still be a thing. But yeah, we've seen plenty of open doors that were not opened by us, so not much of an important point. Can't find shit. But yeah, between some of these classrooms having no lights, as well as the stairwells not having lights, this building definitely seems like the sort of place someone actually died and is now haunting the place in retaliation. Like, I went to school here, fucking died, now I hate everything. Even more so than normal. This area is very warm. Seems like absolutely not the kind of place a ghost would hang out. Okay, that's the entirety of the right side done. At least the entirety of the upstairs. Let's go... Okay, let's check some of the rooms on this side and then go downstairs again. I currently have no clue what we're doing. Would be nice if the ghost gave us another sign. A sign that isn't, hey, I turned off the breaker, get fucked. Because that's not very useful. I guess it excludes the djinn from the possibilities, but since we do have evidence technically available, we should not need precise deductions like that. Instead we can just check for evidence and cross things out as they come. Very warm. Ooh. Hello. This room or the other one? Let us find out. It is this room. Barely not freezing temps. EMF 2. Okay. Well, that is very convenient as far as the high school goes, because that is right next to a... That is EMF 2 again. This is right next to one of the entrances, so we can just ferry items over without much problem. Now, it is dark as fuck, so I'll have to wander through the darkness over here every time, unless I bring the torch, which means I can only ferry 2 items, which is very slow, so I'll just tank the darkness, but at least we don't have to go very far. You can also see how much sanity you already lost in all this wandering. Could be worse. I mean, we found the ghost room, so let's quickly pop our pill. Just to be on the safe side while we ass around in the darkness. Wait, give me that. At least we can now see things on the night vision camera. Look at all these ghost orbs falling from the sky. It's like in real life. So you know that ghost hunting games are actually documentaries. The orbs are real. Let's go and turn this hallway light on. Because I do like seeing things. So just touch the door. Let's see if we get any fingerprints. Nope, none fingerprints. Might be an obake, or it's just not fingerprints. Don't you give me the flickering light bullshit. Ooh, a ghost orb. Yep, definitely unghost orbs. Okay, just making quadruple sure that it's not snow. Where are you? How old are you? Where are you? Where are you? How old are you? Oh hi, nice to meet you. Here, I'm Cube. I need to stop making that dumb joke every time, but I don't know. Can't help myself. He just knocked on a window. Let's make sure we don't get sneaky fingerprints. EMF 2. Okay, so we have Spirit Box and we have Ghost Orbs. I think Mimic also has Spirit Box, doesn't it? Let's see. Yeah, so fingerprints, freezing temperatures. It probably isn't a Mimic at that point then. So we have Mare, Yokai, or Onryo. Mare would be Ghost Riding, freezing temps would be Onryo, and EMF? Dots? Dots would be Yokai. Well, it can't be a freezing temps ghost because we clearly don't have freezing temps. I don't need to check for EMF anymore. It definitely did not have fingerprints either. Well, I guess we'll just bring the dots into ghost riding over. No mayors. No politics. The politic-free zone. Just like any other school. Alright, so dots for what was it? Yokai, I think? And then ghost riding for Mare. Let's quickly grab crucifix. Sure, let's grab a crucifix. Just in case. Seems pretty unlikely, but just in case. Technically could still be a very sneaky mimic if we just for some reason don't have freezing temps, which can sometimes happen, but it would be very odd. And ghost orbs are present, so it could be that. I don't know. Seems very unlikely though. I've had it before that we had a Mimic that didn't leave fingerprints, so I crossed out Mimic, and then it turns out, nope, the Mimic just happened to be imitating a Moroi at the time, and so it was just being extra cheeky. But yeah, this room would definitely be freezing by now if it was a freezing ghost. If it was a freezing ghost, and that is not gonna happen. 0.3 is very close though. But yeah, it should definitely be freezing here by now if it was a freezing ghost. It's just gonna get very close, and that's gonna be it. Don't need to worry about that. We don't need to check for Goryo dots, it's just regular. This is a bit unfortunate. Normally for a bigger room like this I'd like to bring a second dots projector and a second ghostwriting book, but at the same time... Or, well, in this instance we don't have them, since it's the challenge where we only get one copy of each, so this is a bit awkward. The ghost itself tends to not interact with the ghostwriting book or the dots very often, so it's one of the bits of evidence that are harder to get. Like, it often takes a little bit longer than you might think for the ghost to give you dots or ghostwriting. So it's a bit unfortunate that we're dealing with exactly those two bits of evidence, but what can you do? I guess one other way of checking could be that we spam the... Actually, let me see. If I don't think we need to use the spirit box. I think it's just talking next to it. Yeah, talking near yokai sometimes angers it, making it hunt. So if I just start rambling and push to talk and it starts hunting random... Never mind, ghost writing. Writing was mare. Yep, very good. Okay, so we're dealing with a mare, guaranteed. Very fine. So we leave. But yeah, I could have tried, and I was about to start, talking near it, and a yokai will randomly decide to hunt you. Or at least at a much higher sanity threshold than it normally could hunt. I think 75% or something. So I could just sit there and start rambling, and if it hunts us early for some reason, then it would be a yokai. But thankfully it did actually write on the book. I've had it happen before where the ghost just decided not to ever write on the fucking book, even though it was a writing ghost, and it just chose to interact with other things instead. So ghostwriting can be a bit rough, and again, dots also are a little bit rough sometimes. Because the dots don't actually represent the ghost walking through the dots projector exactly. It just, like, I don't quite know how it works. I don't know if it has to quote-unquote interact with the dots projector, like, tries to touch it or whatever, but basically, even if the ghost is right there and you find it with motion sensors and stuff, you sometimes just don't get dots showing up for quite a while. And sometimes you see them a lot. It's a little bit arbitrary. But I mean, that goes for pretty much anything ghost hunting, doesn't it? Right, same location for the breaker, so we'll basically just do the same shot. I don't really like this weekly challenge very much. Having only one of each item isn't as big of a challenge as you might think, and at the same time, the high school is just really painful to do solo, especially with less items. If you have full equipment, then you can maybe set up sound sensors, or in the bigger rooms you can set up multiple DOS projectors, multiple ghostwriting books, that sort of shit, and that alleviates some of the issues with big maps. It's still a pain, but I don't know. It just seems more like a tedious challenge rather than a, like, difficult sort of challenge. Exit would be a pretty good abbreviation for that, yeah. Doesn't really work super well, since a lot of people that do play Path of Exile stick with it for a pretty long time. Thought I heard something on the other side here, pretty far away. Are you alright, Art? Anything freezing in here? Oh, very warm room actually. Oh yeah, right, we don't have snow outside, so the temperatures are going to be pretty fine by default, so we can actually check for the ghost using the thermometer right away. So I thought I heard something over here in this general direction, and this room is a little colder maybe, maybe not. But either way, I'm just picking this as my starting location for the investigation because any room is as good as any other, really. School is so big and has so many rooms that it's not really worth fussing too much. Where are you? Please give me a sign. So until the ghost gives you something very clear, like a phone call, you kind of just start somewhere and hope for the best. Thought it turned off the light here for a moment, but no, it's just that the light being broken right here kind of hid the rest of the hallway lights. I should probably maintain this habit of turning on the light in every single one of these classrooms that I enter, because if it is a mare, there's a chance it'll immediately turn the light back off, which is one of its abilities. Which would be a pretty good indicator that we're dealing with a mare right away, which would be nice. Not because the mare is particularly good, but knowing which ghost we're dealing with is obviously the goal, so that would be pleasant. How do you feel about bathrooms, ghost? You in here perchance, maybe? Nay. Maybe the other bathroom? Continue with nay. Hello, ghost. Would you maybe ask up? Say hi? Even just give me a phone call. I know people are a bit weird about phone calls, myself included, but like, come on. I need something to work with. Oh yeah, this is one of the weird rooms without a light in it. I think if I start singing the Call Me Baby song, I will actually get ghosted, and not in the way that I'd like to. I don't have an Instagram. Maybe that's why I'm struggling to find these ghosts. Maybe that's where all the hip ghosts meet these days. Or formerly hip, I guess. Hello, ghost. Ass up, please. I'm assuming it's gonna be in the west wing. I think if it was above, we probably would have gotten something by now. West wing. Oh, we get nothing. Alright, time to go back. I'm gonna turn this hallway light off and then we'll go through the cafeteria. Play Phasmo with a ghost. Very meta. Not sure I approve. Body. Spirit. Brain. The 3 bits that make up the mate. My upstairs neighbor is starting to make noise. Maybe they're haunting me as well. That'd be very mean of the ghost. I mean, I am also playing single player, so I guess that's what I deserve. Maybe I need to play this online to actually run into other ghosts. Also, me saying other ghosts would imply that I am also a ghost, which I don't think is the hidden twist of this game. Although, given that we've been pointing out before how our hand seems to be completely detached from anything else in the world, and it's just floating. Maybe we were the ghost all along. Alright, Cyber? Well, the thing is, though, it's not really griefing if you're not... Like, what else is the point of just hanging out as a ghost? Wouldn't you... Like, the ghost is just sitting here doing... basically nothing? Occasionally PKing, I guess. But at that point, if someone, like, tracks you down as like, nay, no lauter, then you can't really complain. Damn PvPers ruining everything, as always. Yeah, we're getting extremely ghosted. For now, anyway. Hello, ghost. Would you like to give me an sign? Just uno, any, plus. I mean, that has never happened to me before, and I kind of hope it stays that way. Because while that does sound pretty exciting, it also sounds pretty dangerous. I'm not sure that's the worthwhile trade-off there. Alright, Como? Yeah. Games on school computers make everything better. Used to get in trouble for playing Counter-Strike in the computer room with the mates. I actually had to show my IT teacher Counter-Strike so he could like figure out if good or bad and in how much trouble we were, and my class elected me as the idiot to show the teacher how to function and how game functions and shit. Was certainly an experience. Well, at least my ass isn't dead, and I haven't killed anyone, unlike the ghosts, which are apparently trying to kill people. They're not just dead, they're also hanging out, still trying to find people to also make dead. It's kind of like a disease. It's fine to get sick and just hang out at home and be cured for a while, but if you go around and try to spread it to others, then you're just the asshole. Straight up. And being dead and ghosting around is kind of like that as well. Like, you have become died as your affliction, and now you run around and make others died. It's just not okay. Also, yeah, that home is where you don't want people to hang out uninvited, whereas if you just go to an abandoned school and decide you live here now, then that's not exactly home. You can't just, like, claim that. That is a moderately public space. Well, this one has been a royal pain in the ass. At least with the previous ones, we eventually got a phone call telling us where to go. Need quest markers. Otherwise it is not okay. Building too big. Quest description too vague. Need more intel. This is not his fucking house, it's a school. Are you gonna claim that your school where you went to is also your home? Like, is that your... Do you live there? I mean, it feels like it sometimes, I suppose, but, like... You can't just claim a school as your home. I mean, we don't even know if the ghost died here. It could just be wandering here for some reason. Like, well, I guess school is now where I want to hang out for the next bit. Just scare some kids, lol. Have a fun time. I really would like if there was a chance of no ghost being present, but alas, there is not. There always is one. That would be very funny though. I was hoping they'd do that for an April Fool's at some point. You just have a day where not a single ghost hunt can ever be successful because nope, ghosts aren't actually there. Some idiot calling you like, oh my god, my house is haunted, and just keep forgetting their fucking keys in random places and like keep forgetting that they had themselves opened that drawer and stuff like that. Maybe the neighbors are messing with them. Thought I heard something, but I think it's just my own footsteps. Getting a bit paranoid, I guess. Just desperately clinging to anything that might be helpful. Oh boy, pizza, enjoy. Could do with some of that. I was talking about that the other day when we were wandering through this very same building, hoping to maybe find a ghost at some point, that it might be fun for the bigger maps at least to have multiple ghosts. Because, first of all, it would kind of mess with your evidence gathering, because you'd be thinking, oh, it can't be this ghost because we have X evidence or something, and then you get conflicting evidence. It's like, what the fuck? The hell is happening here? And then, nope, turns out it was actually two ghosts all along. Oi, mate, please give me a sign. I am so tired of wandering through this fucking school. I'm not sure I can show this here anywhere. We need a good shadow. Let me turn my own light off. Yeah, see this shadow of mine? Chances are pretty good that we are actually a ghost. We've been talking about that before on the stream. Like, you only are a floating hand, after all, and no one else can tell me otherwise, so, the spookiest creature in this building is definitely us. I think I've been in this one before. Just kinda got lost fucking around with the shadow. Oh, are we a Finn coming over to hang out in an abandoned American high school to hunt for ghosts? Now that is quite the backstory. Not sure how to work with that, but I'm not a DM anyway, so it's not my job. I just hunt here. Thought I heard something once again, but alas. Fucking hear nothing. Please, ghost, for the love of fuck, give me a sign. I think it would be unmurder or something. It can't be murder if they're already dead, so has to be the opposite, logically, because that's how that works. If it's not A, then it's obviously opposite of A. I mean, what would ghost teachers even teach them? How to create ghost orbs out of nothing? I mean, that is a skill, I suppose. Maybe it's not that much of a skill. Maybe it just comes naturally once you're dead. I don't know. I've never died, so I wouldn't really know how any of that works. Overkill, very fine. Good suggestion. I mean, people already say that most of what you learn in school, in terms of math especially, is kind of entirely pointless. Imagine you're already dead and people would still force you to learn random math shit. Like, oh yeah, this algebra won't teach itself, son. I know you've died, but you better come back to school and learn more. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with fucking algebra in the afterlife? Oh, a sign has been given. It's only been 8 years. We're probably pretty low on sanity at this point, so this might be dangerous. That is very far. It was in the east wing upstairs. Basically right above where we started this game. Goddamn. Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs and try to get my sanity checked, maybe bring in some extra items. It shouldn't be super hard to find it from here now that we know that it's somewhere there. And the door is right here, so may as well play it safe and not die after all this effort. Oops, knocking stuff around upstairs. Can hear it. Very good. Time for more darkness. Ethics, maybe. I don't know. Do ethics really imply once you're dead? Pretty much 100% of ghosts that I've seen, in this game at the very least, are trying to kill people, so either ethics don't apply or they are all god-awful at it. Maybe ghost ethics just work differently fundamentally. Maybe murder isn't as much of an issue if you are already dead. This looks like EMF 5. Yeah, this is an EMF 5 ghost, very good. We were exactly on 50%, which is the most common hunting threshold, so good thing we stopped by here to unfuck that. Right, let's tag EMF 5. Let's grab the second set of evidence for when we go upstairs and actually find the fucking room. Yeah, the sign that we receive is the division signal. Like, nope, go fuck yourself. That must be hard though. I mean, depending on how ghosts work, there's so many more dead people than alive people. Like, how the fuck could you possibly not squat in a place that someone else has already claimed? That seems impossible. I'm gonna grab this and this. Okay, it sounds like it's in that corner. I'm sure it's not super hard to find, so I'll be using these items first and foremost. It's true, yeah. Also, to be fair, ghosts probably don't have much else going for them rather than their minds. Bodies are apparently left behind. They don't quite make it to the afterlife. Hello, is this a room with a ghost? Are you here, Mr. Ghost? Or Mrs. Ghost, let's check. We have Holly Bailey. Nice to meet you, Holly. We have freezing temps. And we do not have fingerprints. Alright, let's leave this shit here for a sec. And go get the other stuff that we brought. Time to do the dark stairwell, which is a bit more of a pain than you might think. Yeah, see how I can't see fucking anything? That's the dark stairwell. It's like the disappearing Frenchman. It's just one of those maneuvers that is terrible and terrifying. You want to avoid those at all costs. Ghost real estate market, yeah. Although, is it really competitive if it's just like the first people that died just claimed it and ever since you just get fucked? Honestly, that doesn't sound super far away from the current world of real estate and property rights and shit and owning things. Let's see if we have any ghost orbs. Last ones were very easy to spot, so let's hope this stays the same. It'd be interesting if we get Spirit Box 3 times in a row as well. Why did I bring the thermometer? Wait, why is this still saying... Okay, I was gonna say, why is this still saying plus 20 degrees if we're in freezing temps? Where are you? How old are you? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Are you friendly? Are you here? How old are you? Where are you? How are you? Are you alive? Can you hear me? Shit ghost. Should have asked what its favorite subject was, since we're in a school. My bad. I messed up. Right, time to gather more bullshit. Let me... Before we go and gather more bullshit, actually, let's go and grab my torch. I wanna make double sure that we don't have fingerprints, since you just touched this. Okay, cool. I wanna actually see the stairwell, so we don't quite get screwed. I mean, just because you're bored and or frustrated doesn't allow you to kill people. I'm not sure if you live in a place where that is different, but I've been bored and or frustrated before in my life, and I don't think anyone would have accepted that as a reasonable defense for murder. Sneedling, Slovak, very fine. Every tombstone just says first. I died here, this is mine. I don't know if any of them actually answer to "Are you alive?" The whole voice recognition thing is always a bit wishy-washy, so you can ask pretty stupid things, and the ghost sometimes just takes it as a normal question. So, oh yeah, right, we also have EMF 5, so we have two things already. Didn't Shade Oni or the twins? Could be a Shade, it was pretty quiet at the start before we lost all the sanity. Probably not an Oni. It hasn't turned the breaker off ever, so it could also be a Jinn. Twins doesn't really seem super reasonable for now. But yeah, people ask like, are you pizza and or are you French? And you do get responses to that as well, which is probably not by design. I don't think any of the ghosts do identify as French, so... It's just one of those things. Oh, you don't live in the US? Yeah, I mean... That's good, I think, for the most part. Especially, given the ghost murdering subjects that we're talking about. Okay, let's see if you write in this sort of shit. Let's keep this on me so we can check for EMF 5 properly, and... Yeah, I guess that's just what we're dealing with. Let's put this closer to the entrance so I can actually see. Hello, ghost, are you here? I mean, I know you're here, I'm just being coy. Could you write in the book for me, please? You probably, if you're bored and were frustrated for a longer period of time, you have dots, and that means you're an Oni, and that means the ghost hunter is going to leave goodbye. Glad I could clear that up for you. Good pizza, how dare you? You can't talk to a hungry man about pizza. It is terrifying. Oh yeah, what happened to that? You haven't rubbed anything in your eyeball in a while. Used to be that every other day you'd be like, oh, nein, mein eyeball, or something. And here we are. No chili. No nothing. But yeah, I suppose if you do accumulate too much frustration and or boredom, you might kill someone, but that doesn't make it okay. Like, just because it's a response that the body does, doesn't mean it's a positive response. There's like... many things in life. Have you macro-dosed your eyeballs, so now you're resistant to chili? That sounds like a terrible way of functioning. Are you rubbing chili into your eyeball while you sleep? Because that sounds like a proper serious condition that you should absolutely address. I was saying just about that in so many words. Let's skip the horrifying sound effect. But yeah, that's our weekly challenge then. Pretty simple games, all things considered. Like I said earlier, it's not much of a challenge to just have slightly less items than normal. Or, I mean, a lot less items than normal. It's just a bit tedious because you have the high school, and running around the high school can be pretty boring. You just have to hope the ghost eventually gives you a sign, and if they don't, you have so many buildings to check. So this one I definitely recommend not doing solo. But outside of that was, I mean, mostly fine. It probably depends on the ghost that you get. We got one hunt with a Moroi that could have been spooky. It was kind of a gamble at that point whether we died or not. The ghost didn't check the room that we were in, so we survived, but we could have easily died there. But even if we died there, we would have found the right ghost type, and that is enough for the game. Like, the challenge says, find the ghost type, not survive and find the ghost type, so even if you die, you can just get it done eventually. But yeah, that's the weekly.